What's up, you hot thotties, you science nerds, you stupid idiots, you sleepyheads, you sunny babies, whatever league you're in with me, I'm glad to have you here. We're going to talk about how to do a draft on Sleeper because I know we have some folks who've literally never done a draft on Sleeper before or in their lives. I did do a full intro to fantasy football video, a full like beginner's guide that I'll link so that if it's really your first time ever, it's okay. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be super fun. If you've seen the beginner's guide, you know fantasy football is basically just fan fiction for football with a little bit of D&D in there. Um, Shout out to my wife and my best friend for those quotes. All right, let's jump right into Sleeper here and let's get this bread, as I like to say everywhere. Got a couple leagues starting to draft soon and one that just started. So I'm just going to show you how the draft works. Um, and what I like to do before a draft is a couple of things. If you watch the other video, you know you have to know how your league scores in order to succeed. You just have to. So make sure you go into your league settings and internalize the scoring because otherwise, how can you possibly know how to rank your players? You can use like this is a if you're in the hot thotties, this is a half PPR league, 5 passing touchdowns, so it's basically half of everything. So something you could do is literally Google like Jesus, half PPR rankings redraft and get some stuff from the fantasy pros. I don't like fantasy football calculator. I feel like they're pretty whack, but they'll give you like a general idea if you're someone like that's not like me and you haven't like kept up on everything from the season, like it's okay, don't worry about it. There's tons of things here. Just make sure the scoring reflects what you're doing. So for my science folks, I think we're in a full PPR. So we would want to switch that up a little bit. Let's just make sure. Receiving, yes, 1 full point for every reception. So in the hot dotties, it's only a half point for every reception. So our pass catching backs have, in general, much of the same value as our non-pass catching backs. In that 1 point per reception league, if you're in one of those, you're gonna put and it should be reflected when I switch this up. So let's just look at the order here, just for even running backs. In a half PPR, Taylor, McCaffrey, Eckler, Cook, Henry, Harris. Let's just switch it to full and you'll see how it switches. McCaffrey goes first, Taylor, Eckler, Cook, Harris, and then Henry gets faded a little bit. And it starts to get even more different the further down you go. Like Nick Chubb is here at 14 for full PPR, and for half PPR, he's gonna be much higher, 13, but then let's see standard. So that's no points per reception. You'll probably Nick Chubb is all the way up here at 8. So it's really important to know your scoring. That's the only real way to succeed. Once you know how your league is scored out, um, you can start to set a queue. I have my queue set for the hot thotties. Uh, as you can see, we already had some of our folks take quarterbacks in the first round. That makes me sad for you guys. There's so much value at quarterback. You don't have to take it in the first round. I have a policy. I try not to take a quarterback before round 5 unless some juicy, juicy value falls to me. If Josh Allen comes to me in the fourth round, I will take him. But other than that, I am prioritizing getting my running backs and wide receivers because you'll if you let's just go to all and sort by points here in sleeper. You'll notice all the most and like Josh Allen didn't even go first. So trust me, Josh Allen is going to be the QB1 this year. But you'll notice all the top point scorers are quarterbacks. Well, you're like, well, why wouldn't I take a quarterback early? Well, because all the top point scorers are quarterbacks and you only need to start one. So you can wait because pretty much a quarterback is going to get you around the same amount of points, between 20 and 25. But when we start getting down to our running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends, and we sort by points, you can see there's like some big leaps that happen. Eckler, Cook up here, and then it just starts tapering real quick. And it's hard to get good value. If you don't get some of these, and you got to start way more than just one, right? So you only start one quarterback and one tight end. So I don't draft more than one because what am I going to have them sit on my bench for? They're not doing anything useful. I can always pick somebody up later in the season. Now, in home leagues, a lot of times people will take two quarterbacks and they will take two tight ends. So it's something you got to keep in mind is like people are going to take them, stash them, and hoard them. So maybe you have to adjust your strategy a little bit to play it safe. I'm not going to play it safe because I'm not here to play it safe. I'm here to finish first. Like, no offense, but that's what I'm here to win. I'm here for dubs and bread, and that's what I'm here for. So I'm not playing it safe. I'm going for ceiling, which means high upside, which means I'm going for the player that could score me the most possible points every week. So I'm shooting for the absolute stars on a week to week basis. So I'll take the guys. I'm not looking for guaranteed points. I don't care if you guarantee me points. I want you to blow people out of the water. That's how you win. You know what I'm saying? So you see, this is a snake draft. So if you pick first, then you pick last of the second, then first of the third, last of the fourth, first of the fifth, etc. Same with the last place. And it's literally just like a little cute little snake. Okay. So for me, I'm always gonna pick third and eighth, third and eighth, third and eighth, third and eighth. And these middle rounds, it's annoying because you either have a long wait to get you in both directions, and sometimes you end up with a slow person in the so it can get really annoying if you're in the middle just trying to keep up on everything. So make sure you have your notifications on. And then I'll just show you because a mock draft is the best way to practice is to practice, right? The best way to get better is to practice. If you do a mock draft within your league, so whatever your specific league is, if you do a mock draft, it will copy your scoring settings, where you are in the draft, so you can practice drafting from your position, and it'll put you up against some computers. And the computer will take into account the scoring settings for your league, and you can go up against them. You can obviously also have people come in and mock draft with you. Here I am at the 1-3. I'm gonna take Eckler, who I probably should have taken in my last, but I went for Jefferson because I figured that some good value will fall back to me for running back. I'm specifically hoping Aaron Jones comes back to me in the home league, so I probably won't put this video out until after I make my second round pick so that people don't snipe me. All right. And so essentially what you want to do is set a queue. Always know who you're going to pick next. Then when it's your turn to go ahead and go. And I'll tell you right now, if Stephon Diggs falls to you in 2.8, you're taking him. Do not wait. Take because then you have Austin and Diggs. I mean, you're gonna be good to go. All right, so that's what I recommend doing. Practice setting a queue, practice all of that. Um, Opening, I mean, they have a great news feed here. You can see what they did last year. You can see what they're projected to do this year. And keep in mind, they're just projections. So if I look for how they're projected, that is not how they're gonna do. That's just what a computer somewhere thinks they're gonna do. I can probably even prove that projected. Yeah, so let's look at Josh Allen last year. Week 1 was projected to score 26 points. He actually scored 15.2. Projected 26, scores 17. Projected 25, scores 37. So you can see they kind of the red I think means they were way below how they were projected, and the green is they were pretty far above it. But these are projections. They're not accurate. So don't sit here sort by points and by average and be like, oh, 100 points for the Buffalo Bills defense. Nah. Don't draft a defense or a kicker until the last 2 rounds. If you know what's good for you, you're not going to find enough value at those positions to make it worth throwing away a pick in an earlier round that you could have used taking a flyer on a wide receiver or running back. You're just giving other teams opportunities to get ceiling points. and to get those breakout stars that are gonna come week 2, week 3. It's like cool, you have a defense you could use for 2 weeks. Good for you. I have Christian Watson, who I can start the rest of the season. So that's my tip to you. Don't draft more than one QB. Don't draft more than one tight end if you're only starting one of each. If you have an IDP player like we do in our science league, where you have one individual defensive position player that we can draft, don't draft them to like the end. They're not going to add enough value to your team to like really make that much of a difference. That's my advice. What else? Kickers, defense, all of them can wait till the very, very end. The last time I did a mock draft here, and let's just keep mocking. Last time I did a mock draft, the all the computers in round 14 took kickers, so I took a defense, right? If everybody already has a defense or a kicker, take the opposite one. Zig when they zag. Look for value. Look for opportunities to get what other people don't have. Just trying to fill out the board so I could show you a little bit more. The computers, for some reason, are all going to take two quarterbacks and two tight ends. I think it's to mimic how like a home league would draft, but that might not be true in your league. So just pay attention to what other people are taking. Once everybody has a quarterback, if you still don't have one, you don't got to reach for one. I mean, let's see, I'll take two quarterbacks, and I would never do this in real life. I just want to see what the computers do if I do that. Yeah, I don't really see very much reaching since then. I don't know to what extent these are programmed to be responsive, but okay, look at that. So as soon as okay, interesting, interesting. Um, Again, this is like me drafting a team I would never actually draft, but it's just kind of cool to see how these things line up, and definitely recommend using some rankings. I don't always agree with all the rankings here. I have my own rankings. This is for PPR though. This is for a different home league, and this is on ESPN. I also did a tutorial for how to draft in ESPN if you're interested. So these are my PPR rankings, and they probably aren't super aligned with what like the experts say, but it's based on my own research, so I feel pretty confident in it. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and end the mock draft, and I wish I could take questions because I'm sure there's shit I blew over that I should spend more time doing. But just to recap the basics, know your scoring setting, set your queue, do some research if you're not sure who to pick next. They also do have these who should I draft? I forget who should I draft dynasty. Yeah, dynasty half. I think there's a way you can compare players on here. Yeah, okay. So let's use who's up right now as an example. So Aaron, our reigning champ, Aaron won last year. Congrats, Aaron. Aaron's facing down a decision of Eckler or Henry. She's gonna come in here. She's gonna go all half PPR. I'm gonna go Eckler versus Henry. I'm gonna view that advice. And experts say in half PPR, Eckler's over Henry. This is I can explain. This is because he is more likely to catch passes. Henry will catch passes, but Henry has a foot injury. He's older, da 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 da. People are skeptical of him. So they show you different like 36 minutes ago, 46 minutes ago, different fantasy analysts and how they're doing it. They take all this. This dude's about to really draft Henry number one overall, bro. Don't trust this man. And then they kind of give you like the average ranking of where they're going. So this is also a really good tool to use. Just try to, but let me show you what happens if I do this. Allen over Henry. Okay. So the experts say you take your running backs and your wide receiver studs first before you take a quarterback. All right. And then just to show you, because I love Hurts, but just to show you, 100% of experts say you should have taken Allen over Jalen Hurts. So the fact that I have homies in my league that I love very much, Catherine, I love. I just was on a show with her. Um, Jasper, aka Jaws, taking Mahomes too is like let me just show you two with Mahomes. So we know Allen's the 101. We know it. Okay. Only 2% would say take Mahomes over Allen. So really, really play your board. But since people are already taking quarterbacks, it's gonna be tempting if Allen doesn't go, and it comes back to me. It's gonna be tempting not to smash Allen and go ahead and pick him up because might as well if the number one quarterback's gonna be sitting there. But I have a long time to wait. All right, I don't know if this is necessarily helpful, but just the other thing, keeping in mind, projections are just projections. They're not fact. Last thing to know, ADP, if you don't know, it stands for average draft position. That's where other people that use this platform specifically are drafting them. So Derrick Henry, and this is all different scoring settings, so these are not always accurate to what your scoring setting is. Derrick Henry is going 3 to 4. All right, notice we're at the 7 here. He's still there. So you can, if you get stuck and you're like, do I think somebody's gonna fall back to me? You can use this to say, well, he's average getting drafted at 22, so I could probably wait to get Debo. But in your home leagues, when you're drafting with people that aren't like professional fantasy analysts, you can't really trust average draft position because people don't care. They're taking who they want to take. They don't care about typical fantasy football strategy. So really, in home leagues, take who you want first and foremost, and then worry about the rest later. All right, that's that. Make sure you tag your next person up after you pick. Um, I want to just show y'all some of the crazy shit I've been up to. Oh, they don't have it here now, but I'm doing these insane IDP only for only specific positions, and it's so fun. We do have room in our, not this one. We have room in our DL Best Ball League. It's only defensive linemen. So if you're interested in joining that, there's some big names in here. Tripp is in here. Josh Raymer, dudes from the IDP show are in here. And we got 2 spots left. Jace Abbey. So Evan Ronda from the Big Game Theory is in here. So it's a good one. And I don't know if there's anything else you want for tutorials, but if you like this, if this is helpful, leave a comment, ask some questions, and I will catch you on the flippity flop.